From time to time, I stumble across an older video that's so utterly ridiculous that I just have to take it on. This time we get a channel called Stands to Reason, where they wouldn't know reason if it bit them in the ass. We get a fanatic who seems to think that all atheists really know their imaginary friend exists, and comes up with the most laughable argument to back it up. So, pull up a chair and watch this guy make a complete and total fool of himself. Enjoy!
This question is simple. Are atheists just suppressing the truth in unrighteousness?
No. Wow, that was easy. What's he going to do for the rest of his video?
And this is a phrase that comes from Romans 1, and to be honest with you, my first response was, no duh.
Well, you do believe in an imaginary friend in the sky, so I guess it's no surprise that you'd be laughably wrong. No duh.
Yes. Why would I say that? Read Romans 1, verse 16 and following, and it's straight ahead clear.
That assumes that Romans 1 is worth paying attention to. And this is something that theists do all the time. They simply assume that because they like a particular book or a particular teaching, the said book or teaching has to be the correct way, and they can just point to it and say, see, we're right. But it doesn't work that way. You don't just get to assume the truth. You actually have to be able to prove that it's true. And theists can never quite manage to do that.
What Paul says is that the evidence of God is clear to everyone, having been seen through what has been made.
You say that like you have the slightest clue, which you simply do not. Just because you believe something to be so, doesn't mean it's actually so. So let's take another religion at random, say the Hindus. If a Hindu came up to you and said, here's some random passage in the Vedas that claims that everybody knows Krishna is real. Therefore, it doesn't matter how much our Christian friend here denies it, they actually believe in Krishna. This guy would shit a brick. But he's doing exactly the same thing to atheists, and he's acting like it makes any sense at all.
So you look around the world, natural revelation, general revelation, and you realize something is going on that's greater than us. And the thing that's going on is God's activity evident to everyone.
Everyone knows. Well, everyone knows that Krishna is real. Everyone knows that leprechauns are real. Just making a claim doesn't make that claim true. You actually have to back it up with more than your blind faith and your hippy-dippy look at the trees nonsense. But that's really where religion fails. And I'm not going to just go after this guy because lots of religions pull the same thing and all of them fail for exactly the same reason. They've got no evidence for what they say and they all take their own blind faith far too seriously.
But, the writer says in Romans 1, men characteristically suppress the truth in unrighteousness. That is, they hold down what is trying to erupt up in an obvious way.
That makes no sense whatsoever. A brain-damaged chimp would know how utterly stupid that is. So let's look at this rationally. If you think that atheists just want to sin, whatever that is, so they simply deny the reality that you think they actually know so they can do whatever they want to do, just how stupid do you think people actually are? Because assuming that your God is actually real, pretending otherwise doesn't actually change anything. Hell is still real. People are still going to get roasted for eternity after they die. It's like denying the existence of the police because you want to rob people. Pretending they're not real doesn't stop them from being real, and it doesn't stop you from going to prison for your crimes. Are you mental?
It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Think of it that way. You've got to work at keeping it down.
But as hard as you try to keep that beach ball down, it's still there. Really? You really believe this crap? You're actually this stupid. Unbelievable.
And the evidence of God is so obvious in the world that the world exists and the way the world exists. So that's both the cosmological argument and the teleological argument.
Both of which have been completely debunked many, many times. But you're not concerned with demonstrable reality. You only care about your emotional religious fantasy.
that a person has to be denying the obvious, aggressively pushing down the evidence to turn his head the other way in order to deny the existence of God.
So let's get back to our hypothetical Hindu. They're going to say the exact same thing, use the exact same arguments with regard to the existence of Krishna. Or you can take a Scientologist and have them demand that you really know that Xenu is real and you've been lying about it when you deny it. The exact same arguments apply. You can use it for any conceivable made-up thing. You just know that it's real, and if you say otherwise, you're lying. And you wonder why people laugh at these fucks.
And so Romans 1 is speaking certainly and most explicitly regarding atheists, but not just atheists, because some people acknowledge God but deny the God that's there.
Meaning they worship another God. So they can just say that you acknowledge God, but you deny the God that's there. Their God. Because they say so. You people are just so completely and totally clueless in your stupidity. Holy crap.
And they exchange the truth of God for something else. And instead of worshiping him, they worship creatures and crawling things and other human beings instead of the one who is blessed forever, as Paul puts it there in Romans 1.
None of which atheists do, because atheists don't worship anything. But sure, reality, it sure doesn't impinge on your stupidity.
Yes, all false religion or no religion is an example of repressing the truth in unrighteousness.
Christianity is just an example of repressing the truth of Xenu. L. Ron Hubbard says so. He can't be wrong.
And it strikes me that atheists would be first in line as an example of that kind of thing.
If there was any actual objective evidence that any of the things that you're saying were true, we'd be the first in line to believe. But since there isn't, and with the kind of absurd thinking, if you can even call it that, displayed in this video, it's no wonder that we all point and laugh at your irrational stupidity. You're so completely self-unaware that it's no wonder people are flooding out of your churches and religion is dying pathetically in the West. And you want to know why? Look in the mirror. Geez, that was painful, and I'm willing to bet that this idiot has no clue what it is he's doing wrong. He just assumes that he's right, and everyone else is wrong, and therefore, everyone has to know that he's right, even if they don't. He's incapable of looking at his own beliefs and realizing that they make no sense whatsoever. Now, I'm sure if you watched my video, he still wouldn't get it. But of course, he probably never strays outside of his little echo chamber where logic and reason simply don't exist. And you all know what I'm going to say. That's just sad.
Everything changes.